Season 4, Episode 23 of the Decoded Podcast.
Yeah, baby.
As I sit here and look at my notes, I can't even, no, don't worry, Chris, no notes about today.
No, not today.
But I think I'm, behind 2 or 3 podcast episodes now that I need to publish this weekend, which is going to drive Shref nuts.
Yeah. I realized only this morning I found an old scrap of paper. I haven't posted up the last year process podcast, so got to get that up too. So it happens.
Is it fair to say that both Ramona and I are not bothering you about that?
It is absolutely fair to say that we are all buried in our own process.
Your process. I thought of Ramona the other day because I participated in one of those Echo Winter Series sessions. I was on the panel, and the Girls Who Game initiative was talking about equity, coding, STEM, Girls Who Game. And I wondered if Ramona would be present to facilitate the talk, but it wasn't Ramona. It was Lisa Noble was the one kind of facilitating. So it was cool. I was like, hey, I know Ramona does some work for ECOO, and I wondered if she would be around, but she wasn't. So
what is that ECOO? I feel like I probably have encountered it a couple times, but what is it? What's its mandate?
Let's see here.
Oh, are you Googling it?
I have to, because I don't know their true mandate. It has to do with Ontario information technology integration. It's in the Ontario teachers who are responsible for this. I think I'm right. Let's see here. It's the Educational Computing Organization of Ontario.
It's kind of a funny word, eh? Like, we don't have to use the computing part.
Computing organization.
Yeah, we don't. That feels like it's an old term. Computing. I know I mean, jargon wise, computing. When I think of computing, only because I think at some point our biggest breakthrough was the fact that we had those old PET computers on the desktop. It looked like a little R2D2 with the green LED screen from the Matrix. And that's when we were doing computing, and those were computers.
Right.
So I feel like Echo, EQ, what is it? Echo.
EQ. I call it Echo, but it could be EQ.
Is it ECOO?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe someone is it EQ or Echo? I think I've felt like people have said Echo, and I guess when I read it, my brain did it. Well, it's kind of like Echo. Echo. Hey, that's kind of good, eh? I just did an echo with echo. Echo. Get it? I'm not being all that funny. But it's funny, that idea of computing. I feel like that's almost like a dated term. Like it doesn't have the hip kind of flavor that kind of maybe goes hand in hand with all the cool work that members of Echo do. I'm not harshing on the name. It just this wasn't a setup. It's funny. I do probably, I enjoy and I use the tech, and I've used the tech for a while. I would have never necessarily said that I was computing though.
It's this really interesting that you say this, because as soon as I read Educational Computing Organization of Ontario, it took me right back to the 80s of my buddy David. His dad worked for IBM.
Yeah.
And he had 2 IBM computers in the basement. I remember when I'd go to David's house to hang out with him, he'd turn on the computer, and to get into the games and stuff that we would play on the computer, it felt like computing. So even, I can't say anymore because I don't think it's going to be nice, but so they were established in 1979. So we know where the word computing comes from. And it says here that they're a nonprofit organization that facilitates the integration of new computing technology into the educational curriculum.
It is interesting though, that hanging on to the term. It feels like I'm not looking, not, it's not a rebranding, but it feels like it's not it feels like it's not expansive enough.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean? I totally get it.
I agree, but I want to call it Iku from now on because as
How
soon as
about Eku? Oh,
oh,
wait. Usually, actually, I think I think when in doubt, you say the acronym in the way that each of the words is actually said. So you don't create a new word out of it. So what is it again? Electronic.
educational
Oh wait, sorry, educational. So it's
computing
ec
organization
ec o.
of Ontario.
Yeah. So even though there's the double O, if we're using the sounds from the beginning of each word, it is echo o. Echo o. You know what? We're lighting them up. They're gonna, you know how many likes they're gonna get just by us. You know, they're gonna grow in membership because we're having that conversation around it.
A second ago, we had two viewers, and I'm sure one of them was Ramona. And as soon as we started to talk
It's
about,
just like I'm out. I'm out.
as soon as we started talking about XOO, she's like, "Yeah, these guys are. This isn't interesting. I'm out."
Dangerous. Or is it dangerous? I don't know.
You know what? You're asking the wrong person.
I know. So tell me about the experience though, because I had DM'd you a couple times when I saw some people were commenting on you being a part of that table talk. So
Yes. So I was on.
I am curious. What was it? What was it all about?
So I was on a panel with other girls who game coaches, and
Shape that out. Girls Who Game. Our listeners might not know.
Girls Who Game is an initiative that is started by Dell Technologies, partnered with Intel and Microsoft to provide girls with an opportunity to enter into the STEM world. Now, I'm calling it STEM. I like to call it STEAM. But they want girls to see this as a pathway for them. And so one of the ways that they're getting at that is that they're teaching students, girls, how to use the technology and how to game using Minecraft, which will allow them to enter into the coding world, which will also allow them to work with the global competencies and the UN sustainable goals. So these things are they all come together to provide the girls with an experience where they have to solve a problem using Minecraft game and code as a way to get to a solution. Now, I think I butchered it, but in a nutshell, that's what it is. And it's really cool because when you talk to the different coaches at the different schools, everybody does it in a slightly different way, how they run their club and who's part of their club and who's coaching their club. And so this panel were a group of coaches um, who have just run a club and were answering questions about the experience. So questions around equity, right? Questions around um, how your particular club was run, questions around the growth and development that we witnessed with the girls, questions about our perspective of the process, how it works, what we're going to do next, what we've taken from it, how we can give back. It was a really awesome opportunity to share with other people what it is, how to get involved, and to answer some commonly asked questions. And I really enjoyed my role on the panel. I was the only male coach on the panel. I know that there are other male coaches, but I was the only one on the panel. And I really wanted to share my perspective being a male and working as an ally. So because I've been told, I've explained my uh hesitation in wanting to do this by myself or with another male, because it is a girls' initiative, it's a girls' program. And I was told by the leader of our group, Katina Papalkis, who's the Canadian education strategist with Dell. She's, for all intents and purposes, in my eyes, she's running this initiative. She's like the person that I get emails from. She's the person that I email when I have a problem or a question about the program. And I remember Katina saying to me, "Hey, everybody needs an ally, right? And if so, you're not a girl, big deal. You're still an educator who believes that all students need to learn. You're still someone who believes that the Girls Who Game initiative is a worthy one of your time. So why can't you be an ally? We need allies. We need people to support. We need people to stand up and speak for us too." That was her message to me. And after she delivered that message, I've been thinking about things differently now. So um, I was the only male. I enjoy the learning that comes from. I enjoy the tech integration. I enjoy, now that I've gone through it from beginning to end, the the framework that the Girls Who Game initiative has put together. In my opinion, is a really solid framework. It's solid in that
Like almost like the curriculum, like the method of sort of moving through it.
it's not even a curriculum. It's literally a framework. Like, here are the moving parts. Here's what we would like to see at the end. Here's how we support you throughout the process to get to the end.
Mhm.
But there's no steadfast rules on how to do it, on how to make it happen. That's kind of up to you. So it's got this solid framework, but the framework is flexible and it allows you to push and pull as you see fit.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. It was great to work with the girls. We're running it again at my school this time because it was myself and my vice principal who were the coaches for it at my school, but my vice principal has been appointed to principal, so she's leaving next week, and our new vice principal is a male. So I remember saying, and I still firmly believe this, I don't want it to be all male coaches. Now
Yep.
I know that in schools for girls sports sometimes it is just male coaches. I get that. But in this realm, in this situation, I wouldn't be comfortable to just run it with another male. So I will be running it with the grade 7 teacher who's going to co-coach with me, and she's a female, and she identifies as a female, and she teaches grade 7. So we're going to use her girls as the girls for this second iteration at my school, and I'm excited. I'm excited because I feel like I have some confidence, I have some fluency, and I get to work with someone who hasn't done it. So it'll be fun. It'll be kind of leadership for me, even though I'm working with someone side by side making this happen.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah, I think for whatever reason was it it was obviously like an on camera kind of conversation. Like, this won't be published out, will it?
Well, the session was recorded.
Okay.
So I don't know if XOO will be pushing it out or they'll have it stored somewhere for people to see at a later time.
We need Ramona. Where's Ramona? Come on, Ramona. We need you here to save us. Otherwise, we're going to keep being so silly with this. We need someone to sort of her to drop a message like, "Come on, boys, stop playing. Stop playing. We're going to wake the beast."
It was recorded. I don't know what will be done with the recording. I would like to think that it would be available to people who couldn't join that evening.
Mm-hmm.
It was 1 hour, and I thought it was great. And dude, like, it fires me up. One of the things that I was quote tweeted was that, I made a comment that with the way things are going at school's not really fun right now. Sorry, it's not fun. So, um, I said that the Girls Who Game program was kind of what lit me up. It made me feel good. There were some days I didn't feel like coaching, but at the end of the day, I went into it because it lit me up. And now that it's over, I can tell you that the majority of the time it lit me up. It made me feel good to work with a group of people who wanted to be innovative, who wanted to take risks, who wanted to play with some of the things that I like playing with, right? Like the global competencies, the United Nations sustainable goals, you know, those things are like, it's deep stuff and it can really help students develop and think in ways that they didn't think before, right? So it was really cool to have that opportunity with this group of girls, and it was cool that my vice principal was involved and that she could support the team and support me in a way that I don't have access to, right? Like, so she took she made it happen that I was released during the day to work with the girls once a week. And so it showed the girls that she was all in and that she was serious about this. So we pulled the girls out of class for 40 minutes a week during class time and pulled me. And so we're like, hey, we know this is extracurricular, but this is serious. Like, we want you to take this seriously. We want you to learn and have fun. That can't happen without a vice principal or a principal making it happen. I don't know what it's going to look like moving forward, but in my little brain, I've come to the realization that I will be giving up 1 to 2 lunches a week to work with the girls. I mean, and so that's my sacrifice, right? That's what I'm giving back during this pandemic. And I don't know if you and I spoke about this publicly, but privately, you and I have talked about there's a lot of things not happening right now. There's no sporting, there's no sports, there's no coaching that way. There's a lot of things that aren't happening because we need to be socially distant. So for me, and I'm not a big coach, like I'm not a sports guy at school. So this is me giving back. So it's kind of funny that a lot of people they can't give of their time the way that they used to, but I feel like I'm making up for not giving of my time in those realms during regular normal world workings. So I'm okay to give up that time for these girls to learn, to grow, to be an ally. And it's funny, another thing I said during the panel talk, I mentioned that people have said to me, like, you're a guy, so why are you running a girls group? Actually, some of the girls asked me, like, well, you're a guy, why are you here? And I said, well, look at me. I'm not just a guy. I'm a visible minority. So I don't understand what women go through because I'm not a woman, but I do understand what it's like to be treated like a second class citizen. So if I can give here, if I can help you learn something, and if I can help boost you up or help you boost yourself up, then I've done my part. I know what it feels like to not be treated the way all people should be treated. And even I said to the girls, even look around in the school. There's not a lot of men. So even in this environment that we're in, I'm a bit of a novelty, an anomaly. So why not help all of you just because I'm a guy,
Mm-hmm.
Interesting stuff. I know I'd love to hear your perspective because you're a dad and you've got a daughter. I don't know what that's like. I've got 2 boys.
Yeah, I've if you hit me up dad style, we have kind of open conversations around it really is. It's not okay. So we don't actually have a lot of conversations around kind of like what's a boy's activity or what's a girl's activity. Like I don't even know, like, and I had, so daughter and son, daughter older, son younger. Um, as far as play goes in our house, when I think of how they play, I don't think either one of them, neither one of them has sort of jurisdiction over one type of play. They both do Lego. They both have played with kind of vehicles like toy cars. They both draw. She did gymnastics. He did dance. They both like video games. They both like building and constructing random stuff like maker culture. They're both foodies. The gender line between the two of them is not specific. He's wore clothing that, you know, is gender typed to girls, and she's wore clothing that's gender typed to boys. So at home, there is fluidity. And we even had conversations, those great drop-off conversations around, we've made into spaces about, you know, how do you feel today? Are you feeling kind of like a boy, kind of like a girl? And they're aware of the stereotype of it. They're aware of, you know, like boys should only feel and girls should only feel, but also aware of their own gendered language when it comes to feelings. They're aware of that too. And we haven't pushed too far through to try and make one or the other. It's just sort of soft conversation as to whether or not sometimes they question who they are, what their type is. And I just kind of flow with it. Let them talk and kind of share. So in the house, I won't say it's sort of, let's say textbook gender fluid, but it's in that space. It's in the space where they both, the way that they play right now, they play the same. And the ages are 12 and 9. So that, as far as in the household, I don't see, if I were to come down and see one of them wanting to code or one of them wanting to dress up the cat, either one of them could do that. Or even, you know, let's say wearing nail polish or makeup or having their hair done. It's all again, it's kind of fluid in the house. And it's interesting, I think that as a father is a powerful access point to be able to see, experience, and love children, like I say, my own in this case, that are experiencing that type of freedom. I think it's a lens that I take with me into school. It's a lens that I take there. Intentionally. I take it with me strategically. And I take it there compassionately, because I want to make sure that when I'm seeing the kids at school, that in my particular case, I'm seeing them with the same potential that I see my own children at home. So as a father, just for me, you know, for me as a father, I'm aware of bringing that vulnerability into my classrooms. And my interactions with students. And I would say to a degree as well, that type of openness with my colleagues as well in our conversations. I'm always hyper aware of individuals that use language that start to move into a space where it sounds kind of like they're fencing themselves into one way of thinking, or kind of locking themselves into a belief system that the same system that they might say is kind of oppressing them or holding them back, they're feeding into it as well. So I mean, with colleagues and adults, it's almost like you can have deeper conversations, but sometimes we're almost more protective to enter into those with the adults in our school. Whatever it was, maybe we don't have the frequency or the access to get into those good, deep conversations. But, you know, you get into that space real quick with your own classroom, or in the clubs that you support, or the groups that you support, activities you support, or heck, even sitting down, as you shared in the past, in the hallway beside a kid that's having a little bit of a breakdown. Like, you get deep quick. So I know that me arriving at school as a whole adult male, a whole adult human, I make sure that I carry that mindset into school. And I work to make sure that it's one of the it's a part of my sort of like, it's a part of my pronoun scheme. So I make sure I keep that right out front so people know, or can at least see how my mindset I want them to see how I want them to see my mindset and how it aligns with my allyship all the time. Yeah, that's what you got me thinking about supporting those groups at school. I'm in a similar but not same position. It's interesting. You would have the girls that game. I am doing the TED Ed club at my school, and right now, the crew identifies as female. Actually, none identify as male. None identify as male openly. If I were to do a survey, it seems the crew that I have right now identifies as female in the way that they've sort of spoken about themselves and their pronouns as well. So it's predominantly female. So staying open, I find that I'm really tapping into my dad's side to make sure that I'm just lighting up potential at every single moment. Every single moment.
That's interesting. The last time I ran a TED Ed club, it wasn't last year, it was the year before. It was all females. I didn't have any males come out. And at my last school, I ran it for 2 years, and it was majority females. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
We to that end, we took a little bit of a break with the TED Ed club over the winter break. So we didn't come back. We came back for one meeting after the December break. And then as we got closer to the end of the year, stuff got kind of busy. So we took a pause. So we were off for 4 weeks. So when we came back, we meet on Thursdays after school. I put to them, I said 2 things. I said, I'd like to double down on our commitment to this. And we've had a lot of great conversations. You've shared little bits and pieces and scraps of the talks that you would like to take. I said, but I'm inviting y'all to dig in and really try and get your words out. Even if it doesn't result in a final TED Talk, that it sort of becomes something where you can see your words and hear your words outside of your head. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, they're down. They're open. They're flexible. I said, and I'd like to have an event in June. And right away, the crew is just like, what? Why didn't you say that one first? I'm like, well, that's what coaches do, right? You're going to bait the hook in a way to sort of get you lit up. And you do the second thing. I think we should do this. And they're like, why? Like they knew that this was a potential, but we hadn't talked about it since September. I said, because I think that by us openly talking about an event, we're going to pull the elephant out of the room because we haven't talked about it since the beginning. So I think it's important that we come back to that again. They're like, how would we even do that? I'm like, I'll figure it out. What I want for you folks to kind of just sit in is think about between now and the next meeting, the power and positivity of having an event for us. We have a finish line that I think we need to arrive at with some sort of a celebration. We need to arrive at an end point where we can say, wow, look at what we've done. I said, we have to arrive at an end point that acknowledges and honors the investment that we've put into this group. I said, even as a community, us just having these great conversations is valuable. So we need to wrap up well or close well. Sometimes I often say we want to close well in a good way. So by the end of it, they're like, oh, okay. So it's now over the next week, I have to touch base with admin to sort of find out what that would look like to hold likely a virtual event. So I'll report back. I don't talk much about the clubs and stuff that I do. It's funny. I don't mention. Yeah. Cause I got a couple little kind of EDU side hustles going on. That one though, that one is the one that's specifically student, like a student opportunity. The other things I'm involved with are sort of through OSSTF and wellness and that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you. I took on the education services rep for our school too. Mute. You're on mute. Yeah.
Thank you.
I saw this really cool dongle that you can put on your computer, and it's specifically a mute button, and it just lights up green or red. So you can plug it into, I don't know where it goes into, but you can have it right on your table. And it's an easy kind of like, you tap it quick And I think it comes with an app that kind of overrides both Zoom and Google Meet in spaces like this. It goes directly to the computer, sort of mutes your mic.
What does that role entail that you've taken on at school?
Which one?
The educational.
I just volunteered for it. I'll find out. We have a meeting next week. I've done a few of the different. I think it's Ed Services. I said. It was interesting. So I put my name in actually for staffing committee.
Okay.
And staffing committee is something that it's an important position. You help to advise on. In the way that I look at staffing committee is that you're an influencer, and you're an influencer as far as keeping people at the table. So typically with staffing committee, you have an administrator, you have the branch president. So for the union branch president, and then typically schools will have one or two extra teacher members. So often you'll see like guidance would be the head of guidance would be on there, and then sometimes head of spec ed, sometimes it's a teacher. So, and it is one of the positions, well, all positions at the school, the executive positions are voted on. So it just so happened that one of the members was leaving the school in second semester, so they had to vote somebody else in. So there was myself and two other members that put our names forward. We had an OSSTF branch meeting on an evening, and a Zoom call. And as we were going through the meeting, it was also mentioned that this Ed Services position needed to be filled. Now, there's always a bit of a cachet with kind of branch presidency and vice presidency and staffing committee that those are sort of they're leadership positions, but they're highly kind of visible leadership positions. The other positions are all fantastic. But from my experience, it's those three positions that tend to kind of like there's a little more competition to get there. And I think it's absolutely important. It's critical for every high school to have a full executive and having different people in each of the positions. I think there's like 8 or 9 positions, maybe 8 positions that need to be filled. So while we were in the process, so we all got our minute to kind of speak, kind of say what our thing was. And mine was about staying focused on the fact that staffing decisions are culture decisions, and equity flows into that. And even if we don't have final say, which we don't from OSS perspective, we're only influencers, you keep that front and center, that the decisions that you're making are not just about the kids, but you can be adjusting the culture of a school. My minute was up, and we all said our thing. And then it was reiterated that this other position still needed to be filled. So we were about to close the meeting, and I pulled my name from the list. I said, you know what? I'll take the Ed Services instead. I had a bit of you know what it was? It's because I've done work with OSSTF previously at other schools. Either one of us as candidates would do the job with the intent of helping members. With each of us had kind of different experience coming in. And I just thought to myself, it's more important to have a full executive. So, not a humble brag that I'm intentionally building here. I think it's, if anyone listening, when people listen, important to sort of when these positions are up, that they are important and they are functional. And they are change-making positions, every single one of the positions in executive. And I felt like I just wouldn't be repping my belief system if I stayed in for the vote when the other two candidates, like, there you go. You got 2 great candidates here too. Like when I put my name in, everybody had open opportunity. So we didn't know until the meeting who the candidates would be. And I don't think I was even sure that there was another position. I think that was just like a drop, like an idea bomb at the actual meeting. I'm like, well, I got to do that. I got to take the Ed Services. So that was a really long way of saying, I just kind of said yes again. Sure, let's do this instead. I don't know what the actual position entails. I have a meeting next week, so I'll be able to report back.
I just unmuted myself.
Good job. You hit the green button.
And I didn't have to hear you say mute.
Mute.
So first we have X-O-O, and then we have mute.
Nice.
Shrek regret listening to this podcast today.
I know. I think that's all the pieces, dude.
I'm still tired. Nothing's changed there. I'm still tired.
Oh, you know what?
What?
I'm doing 4 of these a day. Just water. How much water are you doing?
1.8 liters.
So I'm doing 600 mils more than you, bro. Up your water. It's funny. I can't stop going to the bathroom. It's also medication for sleep apnea. Like I got meds that I got to be on. So it's like that already says, oh, by the way, you take these medications, you're probably going to pee more. You do. And then I've upped my water and that hasn't like.
That's not helping.
It's not helping. Well, no, it is. The water is helping, but it becomes a blended problem. So now I'm fully hydrated. My hair hasn't looked more luscious and my skin is all nice and plump, but I'm almost peeing my pants at every moment. So
right.
I gotta find a better way to manage this.
That's a problem.
It's life, bro. Hey, this is what I drew today.
It's a heart.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about the heart.
I don't know. I kind of got this idea in my head. It was a little bit riffing on, you had a statement somewhere in the past week. It was based on the Yakoko idea of making sure that fun is a part of the initiatives that we're in right now. And that takes discipline. I think it also takes focus. It kind of takes, there's intention, I guess. Yeah, back to intention. And I had just wrote down, focusing on initiatives that are fun for us, make it better for us. So yeah, and then just for some reason I thought heart, but also, bro, happy Valentine's Day.
Same to you. Happy Valentine's Day.
No, it's pronounced times. Happy Valentine's.
Who says that?
I do.
Well, I guess you can pronounce it any way you like. I'm calling it Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm. I also say irregardless.
But then you're creating a new saint because it wasn't Saint Valentine. It was Saint Valentine.
Fair enough. I did not
Don't be doing that, man.
I didn't.
Don't be what?
I did not think you were going to bring spiritual belief into this. I did not. I was not expecting that.
Dude, because I'm a Catholic educator.
I know.
Yesterday and Thursday, I spent the day teaching the students about Saint Valentine and where all this stuff comes from.
Does it take effort to not say my version? Like, do you almost feel like you're going to accidentally say it if you say it again?
Saint Valentine. No, I'm not going to say it your way.
There's a whole lot of emphasis on the T in there. I feel like you're using that just to keep the word tight.
Saint Valentine.
I'm going to IKEA today. I'll mention that after we get off the cast. Yeah, dude. I'm going to go wander. I'm going to eat their hot dogs and have some Swedish meatballs. No, I'm not going to do it. It's curbside pickup.
Oh, okay.
I have to get some chairs. We have broken chairs in the house. So
fair enough. Well, you enjoy that.
I will.
You enjoy Valentine's Day tomorrow. And enjoy Family Day. Enjoy Family Day.
Yeah, we are. It's going to be low key. Probably movies, pizza. We'll play some board games. It's going to be good.
Awesome. Well, have a good one. Thanks for
you too. It's pronounced time. You have a good time too. Peace.
Look, I'm responsible for the controls here.
I know you haven't closed this out yet, so
that's because I have one more thing to say.
Okay, zing it.
Valentine's Day.
Eat cocoa.